Cool. Welcome everybody. Oh, I'm going to turn on my video too so that you can see me. Hello. Welcome everybody to this week's Monday lecture. I am a different face than what you've seen in P2 before, and really glad to be here. We're shifting around a little bit the SCPs and which phases we're working with. And so I'll be working with phase 2 for the next period of time. I'm really excited about that. So let me just see who's here. We've got Baibov and James, Jonathan, Jack, Matteo, and Miles. Good to see you all. And for folks who aren't here, who are listening later, hello to you. Today's lecture is going to be probably pretty short and sweet. I'm going to just introduce myself a little bit because I know most folks don't know much more about me than my name. So I'll say a little bit about my background. And then I want to talk about this topic. It's kind of a meta topic, which is getting the most out of your time here. And here means both at the Guild, but specifically in P2. Because my real goal and my wish for you as your SCP for P2, and of course I'll be sharing those duties with Jared and Bonnie. We're going to be working together collaboratively on that. But my wish for you out of this is that you really get a lot out of being in this phase. If you've been in this phase, continuing to be in this phase, that you really get a lot out of it and that you move through it as quickly as is best for you. You know, for some people, it will really serve you to spend 6 or 7 or 8 weeks in the phase. For some people, it's less. And I want for you that you get the most out of the time that you are here so that you can move on to even bigger and better things. Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
Yes, it does. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, great. Great. So, yeah, let me just say a little bit about myself. This is my introduction. And you guys can see the slides okay? Or no?
Yes.
Oh, you can see the slides. Okay, good. So, this is Meet Your SCP. I worked on this last night and I did all these animations and I hope they work. There, there I am. So this is me. That's my Bitmoji. My name is Justin Haaheim. Haaheim is how you say the last name with the emphasis on the first part, Haaheim. And I just say that because 1 or 2 people have had trouble with my name in the past. So I thought I'd just get that out of the way. This is me and my sweetheart, Kisa. She is, so I'm currently in Connecticut right now, where I have lived for the last 10 years. And I am packing up and moving with my wife. We'll be actually, sending the moving truck in just a few days. So I'll be back at the Guild on the 21st. But so while I'm away, working from Connecticut, and this is my sweetheart, Kisa. Yeah. This is me where I grew up. I grew up in Minnesota. Minnesota gets a lot of snow, and if you can see this, the snow bank is about twice my height. This is at a shopping mall. This is at a shopping mall outside of the Twin Cities, where there was just so much snow that they had to make about a 1.5 story pile of it. Let's see. I love hiking. This is me up at the top. That's me hiking in Alaska, and down below me hiking up here in the Northeast. And let's see. So a little bit about my background. I come from 2 backgrounds that are relevant to Learner's Guild. So the first is coding. And my coding background is, most recently, I was doing React and React Native work throw a little Redux in there. That has been a real passion of mine for about the last year. And so dove headlong into that. And the things that are associated with that. So functional programming, these new or kind of revised models of how we deal with state in front-end applications. So I really loved that, and I'm looking forward to sprinkling a little bit of that into the curriculum here. What else? Before that, I was working with Python. Bonnie and I actually share that we were primarily Python people before we were JavaScript people. I got a degree in computer science in undergrad, and one of the things that I really loved in that was, I don't know if anybody recognizes this. This is, I'm never going to pronounce this right. It's something called the Königsberg Bridge problem. And it's one of these things that you study in computer science courses, where you look at questions like, I think the question is it possible to cross every bridge in this little map here only once and get to every part of the map? And so you model that with this graph here on the right, and it's things like that scale out to questions like, in Google Maps, how do I get the most efficient route from here to there? You know, whether here is just down the street or whether here is clear across the country. I've really had a passion for those kind of algorithms. And even before undergrad, I started my programming in BASIC, QBasic. I don't know if anybody recognizes this from the early MS-DOS days, but this is what you had to do in BASIC in order to be able to tell where the cursor is. I think that's what this whole subroutine is about. It tells you where the cursor is. I'm getting some chats. Oh my gosh, this is great. Misha says, damn. Aisha says, yay, looking forward to reaching out to you on React. Sounds great. Jen says, yes. And Aisha says, lol, yep, I'm old. That's great. One of my favorite things about BASIC, old school BASIC, was working on games. And this was my favorite game that came with QBasic. It was one that came with QBasic. I don't know if anybody recognizes this too. This is Gorillas. And just to give you a sense, I actually found a GIF that shows the pace at which the game is played. So just see if you can appreciate this in this next slide. So it'll loop over here in a second, but you launch these bananas. So you type in an angle, you type in a velocity, and then you launch the bananas, which kind of haltingly shoot across the screen until you ultimately hit your other gorilla. I just love this stuff. Okay, great. So moving on. So there's my coding background, and then the other background that I bring to this that's relevant to this work here at Learners Guild is coaching and training background. I've been a certified life and leadership coach for the last 7 years, and have owned my own business and co-founded an organization called Coaching for Social Change, which the purpose of that is to empower leaders who are at the heart of social change in our society to do what they love and to thrive. And that came out of seeing a lot of people trying to make a difference, but not thriving, really, in some cases, burning out. And so that's been some work that I've done over the last few years. And so I bring both this coding background, but also this passion for helping people, partnering with people, walking alongside them, and helping them discover whatever is next on their path even if I don't see what that is, that's the role of a coach, is helping people move past the places that they stop themselves and discover what's truly important to them. So it's with both of those things that I'm really looking forward to jumping in on P2 here and supporting you all. My vision for this is that I, along with Jared and Bonnie and really the rest of the team, are going to create or continue to create an environment in which you learn this craft well and prepare yourselves to get jobs in this industry, and that you thrive along the way. And so I'm looking forward to partnering with you on that, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you ways that I can support you in that. What else to say about this? So this is the thing that I promised I would say in the Slack chat. So what in 2013, while I was doing some of this coaching work and some of this organizing work, I was working with an organization called 350.org, and I got a very strange phone call one day from the person that I worked for, and they said, "Hey, Justin, I'm wondering if you know anybody, any students, maybe student leaders, any of your colleagues in Connecticut, anyone who would like to go on tour with Radiohead for the next month. It's going to start in a few weeks. It'd be for about a month." And you can imagine what my reaction to that was, which was, "Let me think about that. How about me?" And and so they were like, "Oh, great, perfect. That makes it really, really easy," because it turns out that Tom York, the lead singer of Radiohead, has a real passion for climate change advocacy. And so 350.org is one of those organizations that's been out front with that. And he wanted someone from 350 to go on tour with the band and at each of the concerts, talk to concert goers about 350. And so for this 1 month period in 2013, I became a Radiohead groupie, I guess. So this is a picture I took from right up by the stage in, I think this was Boston. I didn't have the other picture, but I have a picture of me up on stage. So I'm a drummer, and I have a picture of me up on stage sitting down at Phil Selway's drum set and rocking out a little bit. So that's my story about going on tour with Radiohead in 2013. So moving on, just a couple things that I want to highlight that I will be doing or introducing or reintroducing in the next couple weeks for in support of P2. One of the things that I'd like to do, and I'd like to probably try this on Wednesday, is to do some interactive coding in the lectures and in the office hours. So this is opening up something like CodePen or REPL or any of these collaborative coding environments, and then putting up some of your code or some of my code or a coding challenge, maybe an algorithm, something like that. And then getting us all into that coding environment so that we can kind of take turns coming up to the whiteboard, as it were, and working on something. And this is all coming from a belief that I have that for all of the great learning you can do in all sorts of different ways at the Learners Guild, the best learning that is ultimately going to make the most lasting difference is when you're scratching out code yourself, when you're really putting it together, or even when you're watching someone else code, in the moment. So I'd like to try that, and in the chat or out loud, please let me know what you think about that. Misha says True. That sounds great. That's a great idea. Good. From Bybov, and Jen says hype for it. Yeah, I think it could be really fun because it'll give us a chance to, encounter things, solve problems in the moment together. Maybe Jen's working on something, and then Miles says, "Oh, what if we try this?" and goes in and codes it right away. So we're going to experiment with that. Also, Jared and Bonnie and I, really all of us have been talking about a way to bring back stand-up. So a chance to check in the morning that maybe has some component of announcements, but also has some component of just checking in with our buddies. So look forward to that. Let's see. Yeah, and then just in general, Bonnie and Jared and I, in particular, are going to be working on some updates and tweaks to the curriculum that that respond to some of the feedback that we've gotten already, and that help you move through P2 in particular, but really all the phases, that help you move through in a very clear way, so that each day, each week, you're very clear what you need to do in order to be moving forward and in order to really master the material that's here. And so in particular, I'd love to see some materials that help you do more coding and less sort of reading about coding. So you can look forward to that too, and as always, open to feedback on that. So I want to talk about getting the most out of your time here, and this will be a relatively short lecture piece here, and we'll probably wrap up early. But I wanted to just open with this because while I think many or most of you, or really all of you, have developed some skills around getting a lot out of your time here, I wanted to just share from my perspective what are a few of the things that I see that learners can be doing regularly in order to quickly develop as really capable engineers. So the first thing is take stock. And what this means is look at what you have, what you've accomplished and what you've mastered already, and acknowledge that. So that's the first thing is, look at the things from P1 that you've mastered, look at other things that you've mastered along the way, and really give yourself credit for that. Yeah. I was kind of pausing there. I was like, should I say something about acknowledgement? I just feel, in particular as a coach, that one of the most important things we can do is acknowledge what we've done, acknowledge the progress we've made and the things that we've overcome, because that helps us see who we truly are when we come to face something that's bigger and harder, and it helps us see that we can do it. So look at what you've mastered and acknowledge it, and then look at what you have yet to learn. So we help you do this in an explicit way with the skills list in the curriculum. But there are other cues or clues. You can look at the benchmarks in phase 2, for example, and say, well, okay, this benchmark is asking me to do this, and it's asking me to write a command line interface. I have done that, once, and it was pretty minimal. So I know that I haven't mastered that yet. I'm going to put that on my list of things to really master, because this is going to help you be very directive. What's the word? Very directed, I guess, in your learning, so that you're getting what we think is the most focused, most useful training and content, so that you can move forward. Is this making sense so far, what I'm saying? Aisha says, snap, snap, snaps. Yes. Can I get an amen? And Misha says, yes. Okay, great. Thanks, Misha. An amen. Great. And, sometimes it's hard to take stock of your current level of knowledge alone. And so I really encourage you to make use of the coaches with this, the pro coaches, and, make use of everyone. So talk to peers, talk to the SEPs. But in particular, the coaches are kind of uniquely positioned to be like a great conversation partner when it comes to what do I know and what do I not know yet, because they'll help you see what that is. And maybe, they'll maybe say, okay, so explain to me Postgres SQL database. What is it and what do you use it for? And that gives you a chance to try that out and to see how much you really know about that and how comfortable you are with it. Yeah, so that's the specific suggestion there is seek out those coaches who are really eager to be of help with stuff like this. So that's number one. Number two is focus on what counts. And this is something you will need to be actively discerning. And of course, you've already been doing this. But this really comes off of the first one, which is to say, there are a bajillion things that you could do here at the Guild. And many of them have some bearing on your growth as an engineer, full stack engineer. But there are some things that are going to give you really a lot of bang for the buck. And in particular, I think most of the time, that's going to be when you're working on projects, coding projects. And oftentimes when you're working on coding projects with other people. And so if you haven't been doing pair coding yet, we're going to find a way to bake that in a little bit more so that you're focusing on what counts, both in terms of the content of the curriculum, but also in terms of the way of going about it. So not just reading, not just watching videos, but really getting a chance to do as much coding as possible. About that, I'll just say it's been my experience in the coding and learning that I've done that when I really remember something, when I really know something, or when I can really explain something to someone else, that's in this realm of software engineering, it's when I've written a chunk of code that does that thing, and I had to kind of wrestle with it for a while. And in wrestling with it, I learned what works and what doesn't. And I learned, why something is built the way it is. And I learned what other libraries are that do a similar thing. And so I know, this is not new news to you all, but just to really emphasize that, that I'd like to support people as much as possible to be wrestling with code. And if you're not seeing a clear way to do that, if you're not seeing clear opportunities to do that, talk to me or talk to the coaches, because we'll make sure that make sure you find the resources that exist, or make sure we create resources that don't yet exist. Misha says, as a person who is green, new to coding, how do you know what counts? Great question. Great question. We, in designing the curriculum, the folks at Learners Guild really tried to answer that question in a very direct way. So there are things that are, included in the curriculum and things that are specifically not, because, we look at it and we say, when all is said and done, this is the stuff that's really going to count. So that's kind of the first thing. But, if you're not seeing clearly what's going to make the biggest difference, it might be a great chance to just have a short chat with me or with Jared or with the coaches and say, I want to learn this. I feel pretty confident on this. What do you think I should work on? And then we can kind of sit down together and map something out, because we might be able to reflect something back to you that will help you see that. Misha says, okay. So building off of what we've already been talking about, getting the most out of your time here, number 3 is code, code, code. So just really emphasizing again, um, getting into coding projects. And I think one of the other things is, especially if you've been in the phase and gone through some of the existing curriculum material, there might be opportunities to kind of create a new project. You know, if you say to yourself, you know, I've done the command line interface to-do list, but you know, I really want to do something that works with promises. So how can I create a project that does this? That's something that I'd love to help you with. And again, anybody else that's in one of these support roles can help you with. So again, you're getting this opportunity to code, wrestle with code, design and map things out, and spend as much time as possible doing that. And I kind of already gave away number 4, get creative. So this is if you're, you know, if you're encountering a moment where you're not seeing a project that gets you where you want to go, it might be a time to say, you know, maybe there is a project that we can create that that really will help me learn the things that I want to learn. Building off of that, number 5, ask for resources. So this is one of those things, you all know best what, well, I'll say it this way. You all really know best the things that you ultimately need to move forward. We can provide resources in this kind of curriculum context for you to learn software engineering, and we can be partners with you along the way. But you're the one that really knows when you may need something that you don't yet have. Maybe this is a resource, maybe it's a lecture, maybe it's a sit-down chat, maybe it's a new goal or a new benchmark, maybe it's something altogether different from that. But this is just an encouragement for me to really actively ask for the resources that you think may be useful. And we will work hard to develop those, or you know, find you things that you know, that we already have. Misha says, yes, I feel like I need more projects. Great. Aisha says, F yeah. Great. So last one, number 6, ask for support. Oh, Aisha says, FYI, I had not found my match yet, but you are my guy. I'm flattered, Aisha. Thank you. So number 6 is ask for support. And this is related to all of the rest of this. Just know that this team is really here to partner with you. You know, I know that over the last couple months, or maybe even a little bit more, there's been a lot of change at Learners Guild, and there's been a lot of stuff that people have been bringing up about that. And it's, you know, I've had this kind of unique opportunity to step right into Learners Guild, right kind of at the middle of that. And one of the things that that I wonder if it's gotten lost a little bit in all of that is that I know that everyone who is working at Learners Guild, and even the learners who are in phases past you, we all just want to partner with you in your learning so that you have the best experience here possible. You know, I know for the SCPs that it is on the level of a calling for us, you know, something that's important to our lives, that we get this opportunity to help you, you know, to work with you in learning this. And so just know that we're here to partner with you, and that by asking us for support, you are giving us the opportunity to fulfill something very important to us. So please do ask for support, and you know, let us know what you need to do well here. And again, many of you have been doing this And so this is just a continued encouragement. Let us know what you need to do well here. So that's all I've got for today. And I'm wondering if there are any questions, any comments, if folks want to jump on the line and actually say out loud something, or you can feel free to chat it too. Misha says, more partnerships, yay.
I don't know if you guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
So I was wondering, would it be possible, I guess I know you're away for like a week and a half, I think, to set up maybe one-on-ones to go over sort of a plan of action for a learner? Next week, I think, wait, this is the 4th week. So if that's something you think you can do, and I'm okay with remote, but if it needs to be in person or something like that, would you be able to just let us know like what your availability is so we can sign up for something like that?
Yeah, let me, thanks for asking that. And let me put it this way. If you think you would benefit from a one-on-one like that, just a sit down, take stock sort of conversation, send me a message on Slack, just directly to me. And I'll know then if I have capacity to do, maybe it's just a couple, or if it's more than that, we'll find a way to make sure that Bonnie and Jared or whoever is going to be the best fit, that you're able to talk with someone. So send me a direct message on that.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, just a comment. I think I really like your idea about doing live coding and solving a problem and getting everybody's input on how we should approach the problem. So I really look forward to doing that.
Great. Thanks, Babov. What else? Any other questions, comments? It's great to see so many folks on here. Thanks for all jumping on Slack and accommodating me being out of the office. Got Aisha, Miles, Babov, Theo, Misha, Stephanie, Jen, Jack, Mateo, James. I think I got everybody. So any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Well, I would also like to say I really liked your presentation. I like how you sort of told us about yourself and your background. I think you guys are a really cute couple.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I look forward to seeing you here in about a week and a half, I guess. Yeah, I love those photos and Radiohead story. That was great.
Thanks. Great. Well, thanks everybody. I will post this in the Slack channel also, so people who are not here can see this. As always, reach out to me if you have questions. So that you know, my availability this week, I am shooting for just a couple hours a day that I'm actually going to be attentive to Learners Guild stuff. So if you don't get a response from me, it's likely because I will, I've kind of spent some time on Learners Guild, and I'll be spending some time on packing. So if it's something that's immediate, please do reach out to Jared. Jared is ready to be, he's at the ready to help with P2 stuff. Bonnie too, and really everybody. So great. Well, thanks everybody, and we'll see you later.